You feel me? Now, next and last story. All right, this is about a basketball playing brother. So, a brother named Rasir Bolton. Rasir Bolton was a basketball player for Penn State. Last year, he transferred to Iowa State, right? Nobody knew why. People thought it was a playing time issue. It was just a disagreement with a coach. Well, this is actually what happened. So the brother Rasir Bolton, he went on Twitter and expressed why he had to transfer from Penn State. So what happened was the head coach for Penn State, Patrick Chambers, got to put you on blast, player. Patrick Chambers told him, and I quote, "You're playing like you got a noose on your neck." Let that sink in. He told one of his black players, "You playing like you got a noose on your neck." You see what I'm saying? And these are people that we're trusting with our children. These are people that we're paying all this money to go to school, right? Scholarship or not, you're putting all this time into. And look, man, the level of racism that's ingrained in this country, that's ingrained in the citizens of this country, is, man, we got to keep calling this shit out. That's why I appreciate this, because what happened was, if this young brother would have never said nothing, nobody would know. Nobody would know. Now, let me tell you what he wrote on Twitter, because he eloquently put this, right? Because he mentioned, he basically said that a noose, symbolic of lynching, defined as one of the most powerful symbols directed at African Americans, invokes the history of lynching and slavery and racial of African Americans, invoking the history of lynching, slavery, and racial discrimination. And then he says, due to other interactions with Coach, I knew this was no slip of the tongue. You feel me? So he knew he had a racist white man as his coach. Now, of course, the coach came out and apologized and said he needs to learn his players better and all this shit, but he wasn't going to do that. Right? He wasn't going to do that. And then when the young man's parents showed up to address this situation, he told him that his parents were well-spoken. He was surprised that his parents were well-spoken and organized. Another goddamn shot. Right? So it's almost like, well, I'm not going to say that. He knew exactly what the fuck he was talking about, because he came out, of course, apologized, says he didn't know, it was insensitive, blah, blah, blah. Nah, you're a 40-something-year-old white man. You know exactly what's insensitive. You know exactly what's happened to us in this country. I'm not going to go for that shit. You feel me? So shout out to the young brother for bringing this to everybody's attention. I'm sure it was difficult for him to do. Who knows what he had to deal with on the campus he's on now after he expressed how he felt about this. But again, like I was saying a little bit earlier, if he didn't call this shit out, where do you think we'd be right now? You see what I'm saying? As far as over the history of this country, if black folks didn't call out what happens to us, a lot of positive steps forward wouldn't have been taken. So it's important that in every turn, if there's a race, and again, I don't recommend having a chip on your shoulder and thinking every interaction with somebody white is based on race, but shit, you better have that in your mind. You better have an understanding of the fact that it could be, and if it is, with these phones we got, all these different levels of communication we have today, you better tell somebody. You feel me? Let somebody know, because again, sometimes it can just prevent it from happening to somebody else. This coach, the coach of Penn State, he should be fired, family. He should be fired. How many black players does he got? This ain't fucking hockey. This ain't water polo or some shit. This is hoop. So half your players is probably black, if not more than half. So how you think about all of them? You know what I'm saying? He shouldn't be in a leadership position, in a position where he's affecting our children. You know what I'm saying? So Patrick Chambers, head coach of Penn State, should be fired. We need to start a petition, go outside of the school. Hopefully this article will lend itself to starting that process. And again, you can find the article on melanatedfathers.com if you haven't been there today. Check it out. But we need to do something about all this shit, man. And shout out to the young brother, Rasir Bolton, who had the presence of mind to actually speak on this. Because it's been like a year. This was last year that this happened. He's just speaking on it now. But I'm happy the young brother had the wherewithal to make sure he spoke on this, because again, this can help any other black kids that's going to Penn State right now that has to deal with this white man. And like he said, this wasn't a one-off. Because of his relationship with the coach, he knew that he meant that shit. That wasn't basically he was saying that wasn't the first racist type situation he had to deal with this man. So shout out to the young brother Rasir Bolton, who is now a player at Iowa State. He now attends Iowa State. He's a junior. Shout out, young brother, for calling us out, speaking so eloquently about our past, about our history. I'm happy also that he's a young man, 1920, who knows our history, who is passionate about defending our history, who's passionate about renouncing all these small bits of racism that continue to plague our country. Every other day is some other shit going on, right? But we got to call it out, family. Now, that it for the news stories? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, all right. So that's it for the news.